Welcome to the explainer. What if I told you that the one thing holding you back from your biggest goals is the exact same thing that could launch you into the stratosphere? Today, we are flipping the script on that fear of being judged, and we're going to show you why embracing it is the real secret to getting the attention you've been wanting.
Okay, let's just cut right to the chase. This quote, it isn't just some clever saying. It's the fundamental rule of the game. It's the price of admission. If you want to make waves, you have to be willing to get wet, right? You're stepping into an arena, and in that arena, people are always going to have an opinion. So, our source material frames this whole idea with a super powerful mindset shift. It's not about waiting around for the perfect day to get started. It's about a daily commitment to just moving forward. It's about drawing a line in the sand right now and deciding to stop making excuses and start creating results. When you really think about it, every single moment boils down to this simple choice. You're either building momentum, growing, and becoming more visible, or you're stuck in that cycle of just justifying why you're not doing anything. And that, my friends, only leads to stagnation. There's really no middle ground. Okay, let's zoom in on the real root of the problem. It's this feeling of being under a microscope, isn't it? This constant, kind of paralyzing sense that every single move we make is being watched and scrutinized by some invisible audience. I mean, think about it. Every single time you hit post on something, a thought, an update, a piece of your work, you're not just sharing information. You're sending a little piece of yourself out into the world to be seen, to be interpreted, and to be judged. And it's not even just your own content. Every little interaction you have, even a simple comment on someone else's post, it becomes a data point. It's a reflection of who you are, what you value, and people are looking at it. Heck, even your private messages, the DMs and emails you send, they all add up. All these tiny little breadcrumbs come together and create this picture of who you are in the minds of other people. And let's be super clear here. This isn't just paranoia. The source material is adamant about this. It's the new reality of our hyper-connected world. People are constantly gauging, comparing, and judging you. They're deciding if you're worth their time and attention. The only real question is, what are you going to do about it? So if we can't escape the microscope, what's the alternative? Well, this is where things get really interesting. We're about to break down a powerful paradox that can actually turn this huge fear into your greatest asset. The source material is brutally honest about this. The single biggest thing holding people back is the fear of being put under that microscope. It's the fear of being scrutinized, of being truly seen, that keeps so many amazing ideas locked away in the dark. Now, this right here, this is the game-changing insight. This slide completely reframes the whole situation. The very things we're taught to fear, criticism, people's opinions, even rejection, are actually the raw ingredients for the things we desperately want: engagement, visibility, and new opportunities. And that brings us to the core lesson, doesn't it? The real failure isn't getting a negative comment or a thumbs down. No way. The real failure is being so invisible that nobody is talking about you at all. Because if you're not being judged, it just means you're not being seen. So how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's dive into a fascinating case study of someone who not only got this principle, but used it to create a massive wave of attention. So the source describes this creator who was making parody songs with these incredibly strong, divisive opinions. She wasn't some professionally trained singer, the production quality wasn't polished, but she didn't hide. She put her face, her name, and her controversial message right out there for the whole world to see and, yes, to judge. And here it is, the viral formula in a nutshell. It wasn't about having a perfect voice or the best camera. It was simply about taking bold, fearless action on an idea that she knew would spark a conversation. And the result? She went viral. Big time. Now, this is where the source really challenges us to look past our first reaction. It's so easy to be a fault finder, right? To get caught up in disagreeing with her message or critiquing her singing. But the real problem solvers, the people who win, are the ones who can look past all that and see the powerful lesson. She took action and she won the attention. And this is the question that should just echo in your mind long after this is over. If someone can get that much visibility with a simple, bold idea, what is truly stopping you from taking your own shot? What's the excuse you keep telling yourself about why you can't? But hey, let's play this out. Let's imagine for a minute that you do it. You succeed. You take that bold action, you embrace the judgment, and bam, It pays off. You get the attention you were hoping for. But what happens next? Are you actually ready for what that means? What happens when your post or your video or your idea gets a million views? That's not just a number on a screen. That is a million individual people, a million different perspectives, all focused directly on you. Let's push it even further. What about 10 million views? Can you actually handle that level of exposure? I mean, can your website handle the traffic? Can your mental game handle the flood of feedback? Because traffic isn't just numbers, it's people. And with a huge flood of people comes an incredible amount of pressure. Every word you say gets scrutinized. Every move you make gets analyzed. Are you really prepared for that reality? See, getting attention means you get the whole package. You have to be prepared to handle the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because criticism and judgment, they don't go away. They just get louder with more visibility. So are you building a foundation that's strong enough to handle that storm? And this brings us to what the source material says is the ultimate bottleneck for success. It's not a lack of good ideas. It's not a lack of opportunity. It's the inability to stand firm and keep building when that spotlight finally swings over and hits you. Because here's the ultimate truth. You're being judged right now, this very second. You're being judged every single day, whether you do something or not. The only real choice you have is what you want to be judged for playing it safe in the shadows, or for daring to build something out in the light. The choice is yours.
Freedom ain't the weekend. It's a mindset. It's that moment you realize your time is the real currency. We don't clock out. We cash in on purpose. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Monday start with vision, Friday end with proof. I ain't built no luck, I built the truth. 17 weeks, no breaks, no flinch. Consistency my cloth, can't tear an inch. The grind feels sacred when you know your lane. Turn struggle to syllabus, pressure to gain. I used to chase weekends, now I own my days. Design my time, redefine pay. Boss of my rhythm, freedom in sight. Every scroll I wrote got another so right. They talk hustle, but they miss the plan. Work for peace, that's the real demand. From the live to the link to the legacy taught. I ain't sold out, I sold thoughts that bought. Every small trickle now flows like rain. Freedom Friday, I broke those chains.
It's Freedom Friday, we made it through the grind. Oh yeah, time to free your peace of mind. Let go that fear, we rise and strive. Strong all we rise.
I earn my rest cause I earn my grind. Peace ain't cheap when you bought your time. Every no I heard was a lesson taught. Every delay was a seed I bought. From comment credits to crowns of faith. Freedom Friday ain't a date, it's a state. Made discipline sexy, consistency cool. I ain't follow they trend, I rewrote the rule. Hustle, berry, sing the souls back home. While I talk numbers on the microphone. Edutainment the vibe, we built this bridge. Music meet money on the same bridge. Friday ain't weak, it's strong by design. Freedom the fruit of a disciplined mind. Celebrate now, we ain't done by far. We ain't chasing weekends, we chasing stars.
It's Freedom Friday, we made it through the grind. Oh yeah, time to free your peace of mind. Let go that fear, we rise and strive. Strong all week now.
They say the grind don't sleep, I let peace work shift. I ain't burnt out, I refine my gift. Scroll after scroll, turn story to seed. Now faith pay interest on everything I lead. I ain't waiting on Friday to feel alive. Every day now got that freedom vibe. No clock in, no boss tone calling. Self-made CEO of my morning. Used to measure worth by the payday sums. Now I measure peace by how calm I become. From dark weeks to bright ends we grow. Freedom ain't luck, it's what we know. Built my legacy off discipline, say. Now every Friday feels like heaven's pay. Hustle, bear, legendary, harmonize. Freedom Friday, we monetize the rise.
It's Freedom Friday, we made it
Everybody wants to build an online business, but most people never step into the rooms that actually change them. See, AI, it can give you tools, but it can't give you energy. It can't give you that spark you get when you finally decide to create something real. In the hustleverse, we don't wait for permission. We build with what we have, and we make it do what it do. Music, visuals, content, all created with AI, all built from your imagination. If you are ready to stop scrolling and start creating, step into the room you can't stream. Welcome to the hustleverse.
Cut the fear out the frame, let the vision advance. If life wrote the script, I rewrote the intent. Welcome to the
Yeah. Welcome to the hustleverse. With dreams spark like stars, we gon' light up the dark. If you're feeling the grind, know you're playing your part. Stand tall in this maze, every beat is a heart. Welcome to the hustleverse, where dreams collide. Feel the fire in your soul, let ambition be a guide. Winners never stop, they rise and thrive. In this hustleverse, we come alive. Stepping
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 42, Day 5, and we are right at 14 minutes into today's challenge. I'm excited as usual. I can't say it enough. Every single time I get the opportunity to share with you guys something new, a new perspective, a new way of looking at things, it just excites me every time. And you know what excites me even more? It excites me knowing that I can kind of foresee what's going to occur before it actually happens. A lot of times I look at things and I talk to you guys about events. I give you up to date information about real life events that's occurring right in front of your eyes, whether you're paying attention to it or not. And I tell you about these situations, not just for, the purpose of being sensationalized, telling you about, wild and crazy things or things that might be outside of the norm, but for the purposes of you guys actually having something to examine and be able to reframe, repurpose, and use for your own benefit in order to help you become as successful as possible in your overall life. Now, I know we focus on affiliate marketing, online marketing, and being able to, grow a successful, profitable business. But we also focus on personal development. I would say 90% of your journey is going to be mainly focused on personal development, how you choose to grow, the things that you choose to, you know, ingest, and the things that you choose to expel, for lack of better words, right? So your success is going to be based off of the things that you are currently knowledgeable about, the way you currently look at the world and how things can be versus the new information that, once again, you're willing to accept, you're willing to develop and put into your mindset. Sometimes you have to replace the old with new information. So that's what we are all about here at the Hustler's Secret Success System, which is within the Hustleverse, right? So the intro, I gave you guys a few different pieces of, you know, inspiration, motivation, edutainment, as I call it, right? And I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I gave you a picture of a graphic towards the end. And I want to just pull up that graphic real quick because it's a pretty good graphic, and it was made by one of my favorite AI tools that I use for multi purposes, right? So let's just pull up that graphic one more time. And I just want to go over it real quick. Just want to go over it. Matter of fact, instead of just pulling up the graphic there, let me pull up the graphic over here so that you guys can see a bigger view of it. So, this right here, it talks about the action taker's blueprint, mastering the movie studio mindset. Now, movie studio mindset is one of my latest songs that I created, which is actually featured on that album of the year, the Welcome to the Hustleverse album, right? But it's a deep song with a deep message, and that's the one thing about music. You can actually create music that inspires and motivates, that actually has a story, that has a message, or you can create things that's, kind of pointless, things that are mundane, things that are rehashed and reused by other people just for the purpose of you going viral or whatever, or you just following the norm, following the trend, and trying to be like everybody else. But within the hustleverse, as you can see, in the hustleverse, we have no excuses. And in the hustleverse, it's where creativity clocks in. So, our whole mission and goal is to provide you with edutainment, creative insight, creative information. And as you can see, the words pop up a few times in this graphic. Problem solver. We are problem solving based, and this is what our community is founded off of. We're not into being fault finders, but if we could find faults in certain areas and we can bring light to those areas that there's faults in and provide solutions and be a problem solver, then that's our main goal. So let's just go over this blueprint real quick. So it starts out over here. It says the mindset of visibility. You are under a microscope, as it explained in that training given by my business partner, the AI, right in the beginning. So every action, post, and comment is judged. Embrace this scrutiny as a sign of progress. Progress can come in many forms. Sometimes, well, most times we want it to come in positive forms. We want everybody to love and embrace everything that we do, but that's not the case all the time. There's going to be people that's going to judge you negatively. They're going to scrutinize your work. They're going to see your work, and they're not going to want to give you credit for the great work that you're actually putting in. They'll see it, they'll see your greatness, and some people, they'll, take offense to that greatness. Either it's because they haven't explored their greatness yet, or they have certain fears. They have fears of stepping out into the public eye and being recognized as, you know, either being a good content provider or a bad content provider. But we all know that that's relative. You can have a negative idea, a negative concept, and you can have more fans, more people that love you than a person that comes with a positive, inspirational, motivational message. And that's just the name of the game. So it says here once again, problem solver. Stop looking for problems. Instead, find the deeper message and create solutions that provide value. One of the key words that we always talk about in our industry is that word called value. Now, different people find different things valuable. Now, within the hustleverse, I believe that we provide some of the most valuable content, most valuable information anywhere online. But, you know, that's relative once again. It's relative for a couple of reasons. First, of course, because value is only perceived by people that can understand value and whether they like good things or if they like bad things, that'll determine their core values, right? So everybody have a has a different value system that they go off of. And what we're doing here is we're looking to attract people with our same values, the people that we can align with, the people that resonate with our message. So that's why it's so important that you not only consistently create and share content, but it's important that you consistently have your same message. Now, you don't have to deliver it the exact same way each time, but you want to have your message be congruent. Each piece of information that you provide, let it build on the last piece. Let it be part of a complete picture or a complete puzzle that you're able to put together and have people, you know, see the full picture, understand where you're coming from, where you're going, and for them to be able to have somewhat of uh, a sense of where things are going to go. See, part of this business, a major part, is psychology. Not only do you want to be able to understand your customer, where they are, what they like, how they feel, what are they going to feel about certain things that you post? Do you want to post controversial things that get people riled up and excited? Do you want to get people's blood pressure boiling to the point where they just have to say something, good or bad? But it's also the flip side. It's about that individual. So you have your reasoning for doing things, and they have their reasoning for doing things. So you have to be able to reverse engineer yourself, understand who you are, understand whether or not you're a problem solver, once again, or a fault finder. And then you have to be able to identify those individuals that you're speaking to, knowing where they're going to go, and then having them look at you and reverse engineer you. They want to be able to know that you're going to be consistent also. It's kind of like watching your favorite show. You see episode 1 and you say, "Hey, this is a pretty good show. This is a pilot episode. This is just the start of things." Then you see episode 2, then episode 3. And then you start to get a sense of those characters once again. You get a sense of who they are. You start saying to yourself, "Hey, that person right there, if given this situation or scenario, they're more likely to do this instead of that." And then you start to follow the stories. You start to watch. You start to see different episodes and different scenarios present themselves. And you start to already predetermine in your mind, hey, I know exactly what they're going to say. I know exactly what they're going to do. That's the type of feeling and vibe that you want to give to your audience also. You want to give them something to look forward to. You want to also give them that curiosity factor. You don't want them to know 100% exactly what you're going to deliver, because if they know that, then maybe it's no reason for them to watch. If you can completely predict the next episode of your favorite show, then you might you might go and skip an episode, or you might not want to watch it live. You say, hey, I'll catch up with it later on because I know how it's going to go. I know what's going to happen. But if there's a little bit of mystery, if there's a little bit of diversity in the deliveries, then you can go from episode 1 through 5 having an idea of who those characters are, but also saying to yourself, well, you know something? I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode because they just might do this or they just might do that, and it might be a little bit different. So you want to actually be able to program the mindset of your audience. Now, it says here at the bottom, the no bad publicity rule. The only thing worse than being well, should that see ostracized is being ignored. Well, that should be criticized. So the AI made a little spelling mistake there. The only thing worse than being criticized is being ignored by your target audience. And it's a good thing that I'm fairly good with vocabulary, so I can kind of see where a word should have been. I was going to say ostracized, but ostracized would be the same as ignored, right? So it wouldn't be that. So that right there should have been criticized. But as you can see, looking at this uh, as they would say, infographic, it's almost 100% perfect. But we just found the flaw, right? So right there, and we can't be mad. It's AI. It's technology. Sometimes technology is like people. It's not 100% perfect, but we work with it, and that's a lesson. If you know what it is that you're talking about, and you know and you study what it is that you do, then you can recognize where there's a error, and you can actually understand once again in this lesson, if this was the TV show and we went from episode 1, 2 to 3, then we kind of have an idea of where things should be, what words should be there, what is the characters trying to say once again. So there's no such thing as mistakes. As one of my favorite people who's no longer here, and I think it's one of everybody's favorite people, Bob Ross, the the joy of painting guy. He said there's no such thing as, mistakes. There's only happy accidents, right? So we can always find a happy accident in every situation. And this right here adds to the value. Sometimes we need to see mistakes in order to be able to recognize those mistakes. And if we can see them and recognize them and know what is the correction to that mistake, that's kind of like, once again, finding the fault. But instead of dwelling on the fault, saying, hey, this right here sucks because one word is misspelled, we can say, hey, this is the solution. This is what we have, and this is the lesson that can be learned from it. So let's go on over to this other side. It says taking bold action. So, what you want to do is build a consistent habit of visible progress, regardless of fear or external excuses. Excuses are something that people come up with every single day. And whether you want to be an excuse giver, or if you want to be consistent and always move forward with visible progress, that's always a choice that you have to make. So it says yesterday is what this graphic was pretty much based off of. We talked about some deep stuff yesterday. Yesterday was Action Taker Thursday, and today is what we consider to be Freedom Friday, as represented by our theme song in the beginning. Now, power of viral authenticity. Boldly share your message without hiding behind a mask to trigger the algorithm and reach millions. So, once again, let me read that again. The power of viral authenticity. Boldly share your message without hiding behind a mask to trigger the algorithm and reach millions. Now, once again, that's another choice. That's another part of the blueprint. You can either hide behind a mask, you know, pretend to be someone else that you're not, or you can be your authentic self, as we talked about in the previous live, right? So that you can trigger the algorithm and reach millions and be able to actually be the person you are, have those millions of people look at you for who you are, and then it makes it easier for you to be able to deal with whatever it is that they have to give to you. Whether you're going to be a polarizing character, somebody that is a fault finder, then be the best fault finder that you can be. Be your authentic self in that fault finding. Because once when, the comments come, just like I said in the beginning training, if you get 1 million views or 10 million views and the comments start to come in, you have to be able to deal with those situations accordingly. And you being your authentic self will help you. So 14 million views. Now, that number right there, 14 million views, was based off of a live training that we had yesterday that was hosted by my business partner, Mr. Wayne Crow. One of his students actually was able to generate 14 million views using a specific method. Now, hopefully, if you guys were able to attend yesterday's live, you found out exactly what that method is. Now, that live might still be available. The replay might still be available. But of course, you have to be part of our amazing system in order to get access to that. So, of course, I want to ask you, if you want to be part of it, all you have to do is click on the link to the most valuable document in all of online marketing, right? We're going to go to that in a second. But just to finish up this part right here, it says via AI traffic. Focus on generating massive traffic first. Views are essential foundation for any online income. Once again, via AI traffic. Focus on generating massive traffic first. Views are the essential foundation for any online income. You have to be seen in order to be recognized, in order to be judged. And once when that judgment occurs, that's when people are able to make decisions about you, your product, and service. So let's just jump back to the document real quick. So once again, we have the Hustlers 10 Minute a Day Challenge document. And in order to get access to any of the exclusive lives and the trainings that we have within the amazing system that we're partnered with, all you have to do is start where I consider to be the second line in the document. This line right here that says grab your mega link. It actually gives you access to your foundational tools and your foundational system that's designed to help you build any type of business you want. Now, it's specifically geared towards teaching you how to promote one particular product or service, so to speak, within, the products within our system. But the system, the blueprint itself teaches the right person who can actually identify and recognize true value. It's geared towards teaching them how to use the information to build whatever it is that they want. So whether you're a book writer, maybe you're a music artist, maybe you're somebody that creates your own physical products, the information within this system here will allow you to build that business. So all you have to do is click this link, get access, and once when you get access to it, you're going to get some exclusive bonuses. That's only provided by me. So that's one of the benefits of you being part of our amazing, Hustleverse system, is that you get access to things that you won't get access to anywhere else. So one of the main things that we provide is our edutainment bundle. And it's, a couple of albums, a couple of inspirational albums that inspire and motivate and actually keep you moving throughout your online journey. So if that's something that you're interested in, you definitely want to be able to click this link, get access. Now, I also want to go over to our, main dashboard so that you guys can see what is coming up next. So we always have some live events going on that will teach you a new way of looking at things, a new system designed to help you grow and develop. And if that's something of interest, once again, you have to be part of the system in order to get access to it, right? So this is what we do on a daily basis. And this is what we call a blueprint, a system that's designed to help you and that's designed to continuously keep you moving forward. Education is key, and staying in a constant state of learning, growth, and development is the only thing that's going to keep you moving forward when it comes to your ultimate goal of earning an income from home, earning something that's sustainable, earning something that's built for longevity. So it says here, tomorrow, Saturday, April 4th at 3 p.m. UK time. So I'm looking at the wrong time, right? So UK time. So if you're in the UK, this right here is for you, 3 p.m. But if you're in EST time in the United States, like I am, then that will be 10 a.m. EST time. There will be a live training hosted by my business partner, Mr. Wayne Crow. And, and the title of this training is System Unlock. The one thing top earners have that you don't yet. Keyword is yet. Meaning, if you attend this live, you'll have that information that top earners also have. So, in this training, Wayne reveals the number one thing his most successful students figured out early, the thing most new members completely overlook, and shows you exactly how to get it for yourself. That's the key. You want to be able to see what works, what other people are doing, how they've become successful, and how you can use that to your benefit. So, if you want to be there, all you have to do is do the steps. All you have to do is click a link, get involved, join our amazing system. Now, usually I leave this part to the end just to, tell you guys what to expect. But, I had to give it to you right now. And I was kind of thinking that I didn't want to keep you guys for too long in today's live, but I have to I have to just go back to what I was saying in the beginning about how I often share with you guys information, understanding and knowing or having the foresight that something big is going to happen after that. So in yesterday's live, hopefully you watched. If you haven't, you definitely need to check it out. But in yesterday's live, we went to one of our most valuable, resources, right? Which is the new tab resource, right? So just clicking on new tab, that gives you so much great information. That gives you so much helpful insight. That can teach you more than just being on a regular day-to-day live or from your standard online marketers. Now, the great thing about what we have within our system is that we have extraordinary coaches and mentors that have been in the trenches, that are currently in the trenches doing the work, and they're consistently growing and developing so that they can bring us the latest information, as you can see, represented by the fact that we have new lives usually 3 times a week, 3 or more times a week. So we keep going with new information, right? But yesterday I talked to you guys about a story of um, one of, well, it was about politics, but it was about a member in the Trump administration. And we talked about how they were being under scrutiny. Caroline Levitt, to be exact, right? So it was discussed how it was a hook, so to speak, in a trending story about how President Trump said that Caroline Levitt was doing a horrible job. And we talked about that. We deep dived into that. And I said, well, usually when there's a story about something, there's something else that's going to happen afterwards. And this goes back to what I was saying about watching your favorite show. When you have access to such great information on a daily basis, when there's something new to explore on a daily basis, you can kind of see where things are going to go, but there's always, a little spin that occurs. And those spins, as I said, that's what makes you excited to go ahead and watch the next episode of the show, because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. You just have an idea. But here's what happened within the last 24 hours. So we thought that the next progression was going to be, a follow up story about Caroline Levitt and whatever was going to happen with her, right? But then this is what we got. So this headline right here says footage captures moment Trump told Bondi she was on the way out before she begged to keep job. So yesterday we were so focused on Caroline that we didn't we didn't think that today would be Pam Bondi's day. We thought that Trump making a comment about, hey, she's doing a horrible job. Should we keep her? No, yeah, we're gonna keep her. We thought that the next story was gonna be a follow-up to that. But surprise. We learned later on that US Attorney General Pam Bondi was just fired. Why? Hmm. Interesting. That's a story that needs to be dived into. What is it that she did or didn't do that caused her firing? Well, there's some information that's been going around for a while, if you've been paying attention, that, as an attorney general, your job is to prosecute and be in charge and oversee prosecutions. And for the longest, we know that President Trump has been wanting to prosecute various people. They say he has a list of people that, I guess you would say a hit type of list where all of his adversaries are on and he wants revenge. Now, I was saying this years ago before he actually was reelected. My one logical way of looking at things was, if you put a person through so many challenges, if you put something in front of a person and you charge a person or have 30 plus indictments against a person, and they're looking at you as being somebody that's totally against them, and your whole party, so to speak, represents an enemy to that person, would you honestly put that person back in power after that? And if you put them back in power, what is it that you truly expect to happen? Me, myself, I'm a New Yorker like Trump. And I'm not going to say that it's just a petty trait of a New Yorker, but it, I'd say it's a trait of anybody who's been done wrong or feels as though they've been done wrong. If you did me wrong and I feel as though you did me wrong and I'm in a position to be able to do something about that, you best believe that something is possibly going to get done. We don't forget. I'm gonna put it on New York in this aspect. We don't forget. We don't let go, and we have some petty individuals within our community of New Yorkers. We know one of the most pettiest people in the world is 50 Cent, a fellow New Yorker, and another just as petty or even more petty New Yorker is Donald Trump. And the thing about it is, We don't forget. We don't forget and we don't easily forgive. So years ago, when these things were going on, I said to myself, man, you better never let this man get back into a position of power, because what do you expect him to do? What do you think he's going to do? You're not surprised by anything. So, in relations to this right here, the situation has been that Miss Bondi hasn't been able to put forth the agenda in a way that President Trump has wanted her to put it through. There has been indictments on some of his political enemies, but for the majority of those cases, they've all been dropped. Nobody has been prosecuted. And that right there could tick a person off. My enemies did me wrong. They did this. They said this about me. They tried to get me arrested. They tried to tarnish my name. They did this, that, and the third to destroy me. And now I'm in a position of power, and it's time to return the favor. And now he still can't get it done. So I believe that that's a big part of why her position is no longer available to her. She wasn't able to get it done. She wasn't able to get these people prosecuted and dealt with. But there's a lesson. We talk so much about what a person does and what they show and what you post online. But what about the things that you don't do? The things that you don't say? The things that, people want you to do and you just don't deliver. There's a lot of situations like that. People are looking at you once again in all contexts. They're examining you. They're looking at your facial expression when they're supposed to be hearing the information that you're delivering. They're supposed to be appreciating the knowledge and the light bulb moments that you're helping them to get. But a lot of times they're not looking at that. They're looking to see, hey, did you shave? Is your beard lined up? Is everything perfect on your face? They're looking at other things. And if that's not in line, that could just throw everything off. If you didn't do this one thing for me, if you didn't make me feel good in this particular aspect, then I can fire you, so to speak, as my content creator, as the person that I want to give my attention to, that I want to provide traffic to, right? So it's all kinds of things that can happen. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't want to jump on this too much, but you see how they caught this picture of her, this look right here, which is probably completely unrelated to what they're actually trying to say. See, in the headline, the hook, is geared towards making you believe that this is the expression that she had on her face when he told her your services are no longer needed. Now, once again, I always tell you guys to go deeper than what is actually being shown. That's for everything. If you watch a training, don't just listen, but look, see everything that there is to see and dive deeper, because this is another situation that's similar to the Christy Nome situation. She was recently fired, right? A couple of weeks ago. But the story was just that she was fired. Then we hear that, okay, she was provided a different position. She was reassigned. Okay. So that's what we do nowadays. We don't just fire people, but it's all for optics, purpose of how a person is being seen. Once again, how do you want to be viewed? Do you want to be viewed as a person that just fires somebody and, hey, I don't like what you did or didn't do, so I'm going to fire you? That might be looked at as a bad person. But if you can put a little spin on it and say, hey, no, we didn't fire this person. We gave them a different position. we put them in a position that their skills and their talents could be better utilized. That's what they tried to say about Christie, right? Well, in this situation right here, also, Pam Bondi has been relocated to a new position. So it says here, this is one of those hooks, one of those clickbait hooks. Donald Trump's final straw revealed as Bondi booted out of his cabinet. Yes, she was booted out, but she was also relocated. She was relocated to a different position. And you never really see that information right up front, right? You hear all the other stuff, and then they throw it in there. They throw the important aspect of the news, not the sensationalized stuff. They throw the sensationalized stuff at you first, just to get you hooked, and then they give you more of what you want to know about or should know about in the midst of it. And it says here, he added, "We love Pam and she will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector to be announced at a date in the near future." Wow. So they ain't even have a position available to transfer her to. But still, you have to maintain the message. You have to be consistent with your messaging. We don't just fire people. We're not evil people. We're not bad people that just fire people, right? It's the messaging. We're people that put people in the best position that suits their expertise. And in this case right here, we were so, hey, however you want to read into this, however you want to read into this is however you want to read into this. We were so disappointed in this person's performance that, you know, damn optics. At least the last person, we appreciated what she did for the border and everything like that. She wasn't completely, she didn't disappoint us. She did the job, but she was bringing us bad publicity to the point where we had to do something. So we at least had the job lined up for that person, for them to transition to. But this person right here, this person just, they went from one mess up, they couldn't get these people prosecuted, and then they went to appearing in front of, committees, being, interviewed and having to testify, and they put on a horrible performance during their testimony. They're just kind of screwing up all around. So we gotta get rid of this person. But we still want to give the optics. Damn, that job isn't, we haven't created a job, or we can't think of a good spin, a good relocation for them. Kind of like that movie, right? I spoke about this movie before. I forget um the name of it. Well, it's a comedy like movie, but the whole gist is there's one character in the movie. He starts off in one position at the job, and then the manager comes. He always stands in the doorway. It seems like he stands in the doorway. He has his cup of coffee. He takes his sip of the coffee or whatever, and he just says casually to him, "You know something? This, this office right here, it's pretty big. You know, I think it's like too much. It's too much open space in here. Whatever, right? It's too much room in here. I think there's another space that I want you to go to." And then they relocate that person. They change the person's job title, so they demote them while trying to make it seem as though they're doing them a favor. And then the guy goes to that other, office. Usually it's a smaller office, not as nice as the previous. And then a little bit later, the manager comes back and says, "You know something? See, drinking his coffee or tea. You know something? We're about to do some remodeling around here, or whatever. And we want, I- we need you to take this stuff here and put it in this other office." And it gets to the point where towards the end, the man is basically in a broom closet. They done relocated him so much, demoted him so much, and tried to make him feel as though it was a good thing so much that, he ended up snapping at the end of the movie, right? And doing something. But this is on you. If you can follow along with me, foresee the future. Look at things as they are and be able to identify what the next episode of this show is going to look like. What is the next episode? What happens when a person gets demoted, moved around, if they get treated as though they're not valuable anymore? Some people, they like, hey, I can be just as petty. They're like, hey, well, there were some things that I couldn't say or do when you had me in this position, but now that I'm not here anymore, eh, I feel a little bit freer, kind of like a Freedom Friday, where I can just do whatever it is that I want. So, will the next stories be somebody, maybe not Bondi, maybe not Gnome, maybe not Levitt, but we got three people so far that that we can choose from that can possibly come out with some stories to tell, a new angle, some way of dealing with their newfound situations. So with that, I look at the time, it's 9:58 a.m. EST time. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. I hope you've gotten a lot of value out of it. I hope we've given you some light bulb moments. We talked about things that to some people might be unrelated. you know how does that have anything to do with affiliate marketing? Well, it has everything to do with it. It's marketing, it's the messaging, it's how you see things and how you deliver things. And if you can get the message within the message, then that will make you a better marketer. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live once again. And I want to close out with two music videos. You know, I want to close out with, something upbeat, seeing as though the sun is out, it's all bright out. And one of my favorite upbeat songs that we have is that Hustleberry Vacation Proof video, which is definitely one of those exciting type of uplifting music videos. I didn't even talk about the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Maybe I'll go live again later on just to talk about the other trending news, the other things, the other news stories that I've seen. It's not politics related. So if you have a problem with politics or whatever, that's on you. I don't care. But the other stories isn't politically um, driven. It's not about politics, but it's just as interesting. And I did a post on social media about those, topics, but maybe I'll do another live to, kind of just talk about that. But it's been a lot going on. This is something that I enjoy on a daily basis. And the good thing about being in a position like this is that, you know, it's not like most other things. It's not like you just have one source of information or one thing to pull from. There's always something new going on. So when they say, hey, what am I going to talk about? Well, what am I not going to talk about? What is there not to, be able to discuss? Now it's on you whether or not you want to be a person that's tunnel vision, narrow minded, and your view or your scope of view is just on one thing, and you're basically a one trick pony. Then of course you're not going to have anything to talk about. You're not going to be able to reach various audiences. You're not going to be able to do much of anything when it comes to being a creative online marketer. But if you have some diversity in you, if you're willing to present the information in various ways, then you will never run out of content. And let's see, I'm scrolling. I found the video. So I'm going to fade to the back. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm going to continue working. I got more content to produce and to share with you guys. So hopefully you show up. Of course, hit that like button, hit that share, drop your comments. Let me know what you thought about today's live. Let's get that engagement up. Share it with people that you think are valuable people that would appreciate valuable information. Have a great rest of your day.
I won't promise millions falling out the blue, but I can promise this sky gon' still turn new. Sunrise faithful, sun stay true. Same way to work gon' work for you. No fake dreams, no flashy proof. Just solid ground and a clearer view. What I teach don't fade when you step away. What I build with you, vacation proof. They sell beaches like it's freedom in the frame. Stock photo champagne, somebody else's name. But I've been on sand where the phone still ring. Bills don't pause just cause ocean waves sing. So I stopped selling pictures, started selling truth. If it can't last offline, it ain't bulletproof. I won't tell you life gon' change overnight, but I'll show you skills that compound with time. I can't promise ease, I can't promise tools. Ones that work at home or staring at views. I can't promise effort gon' sharpen your aim, and clarity gon' put respect on your name. Sun come up whether you hustle or not. Sun go down whether the posts go high. So I build something steady, simple and true. Not hype-based living, but vacant. I won't promise millions falling out the blue, but I promise sky gon' still turn new. Sunrise faithful, sun stay true. Same way to work gon' work for you. No fake dreams, no flashy proof. Just solid ground and a clearer view. What I teach don't fade when you step away. What I build with you, vacation proof. I seen folks sell freedom they never use. Always one call away from losing the groove. If you gotta babysit every result, that ain't freedom, that's a fragile vault. So I talk about systems, not fantasies. About habits that don't panic when you leave. I won't tell you set it and forget, but I'll teach you foundations that don't reset. Real tools, real skill, real repetition. That's how pressure turns into position. I don't sell escape, I sell understanding. So your income ain't based on constant demanding. Hit the beach, got Wi-Fi, cool, check the view. But if you don't, you still gon' make it through. That's peace, not just a backdrop cue. That's how you know it's vacation proof. I can't promise perfection or a stress-free life, but I can promise growth if you show up right. I can't promise riches without no work, but I can promise truth before I promise perk. I don't flex with captions, I flex with calm. Knowing things move even when I'm gone. I don't chase urgency, I teach direction. So effort turn into connection. You don't need a jet to feel alive. You need a plan that don't collapse with time. I want you confident without my voice. Able to move smart with your own choice. That's why I teach the why, not just the link. Teach you how to fish, not just what I think. If the only promise is trust me, friend, and the trust gon' break when the trend gon' end. So I ain't the fake dreams and what I know is true. Sun gon' rise, sun gon' set, tools gon' work if you do. There's freedom rooted, not something you chase. It travels with you to every place. I won't promise millions falling out the blue, but I promise this sky gon' still turn new. Sunrise faithful, sun stay true. Same way to work gon' work for you. No fake dreams, no flashy proof. Just solid ground and a clearer view. What I teach don't fade when you step away. What we build together, vacation proof, vacation proof. Vacation proof. Vacation proof. Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first, but in silence, even whispers can quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. Till my PayPal pinged, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spitting like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name. Now hustle berry on loop like healing chance, for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, it's a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat